We saw that there was a huge mixture of excitement and frustration at the same time. Most of the excitement was people literally getting access and rushing in to play the game, but then the other half was the unfortunate people who still don't even have access to play the game today. I wasn't sure the main fallout of this, as initially it kind of seems that Embark limited the access so that they could then maintain that server load, so then we'd have a consistent performance for players in the game. It still seemed that even though that happened and these controls of player counts were in place, we still had issues on day one. This then impacted the performance hit to players running the game. Personally, during each playtest I did before the beta, I actually had no issues on the game at all. Like, everything was running fine, and the game just felt good to play. Now this issue can easily be overlooked, obviously, as one of my concerns was literally the size of Embark and the cost of players playing on their servers. You know, these issues happen so easily across many other game titles that are either in like a playtest period or even a full release. To the downside of this, you lose the initial first impression experience and even chance. Top streamers such as Shroud and XQC were literally streaming the game and complaining about how bad the movement felt in the game.
I don't like the feeling of the game. The inertia, yeah. It feels.
You feel heavy.
The inertia feels odd to me.
Oh, the movement's so weird.
It's just bad. It's always just f***ing bad.
Which actually wasn't the game's intended movement itself, it was just the server's load from what I think was a goo bug. That took up basically so many resources, then the server would lag, and then it would basically feel like you're ice skating during moving around. This issue has apparently been fixed since then, and of course you're not going to find these issues unless, you know, you run a playtest at the scale Embark are doing, but first impressions, especially for the hundreds of thousands of viewers that are watching this game on Twitch, is super vital to never get wrong. Otherwise, you'll then have an unfair bias towards the finals, where essentially people will just think of it as the laggy game. Now, yes, it is Twitch chat, and 99% of the time Twitch chat's just completely wrong or just brain dead anyway, but, you know, I'm still saying it's still that first impression you have to make. Another one of my concerns was how fast Embark would actually listen to people's feedback, and then obviously apply those changes during the playtest, just as a show for how quick they can adapt to problems and issues. I do think that they are doing absolutely fine inside of this case. You know, we've seen multiple changes for balancing already, we've seen fixes for issues, and overall there has been a real positive improvement since day one. And as you guys have seen, you know, I'm loving this game. But after playing in a wider pool of players, there's a big issue with how the game actually is as an overall. And I'm talking about the game mode. The cash out mode is, at its base, a really fun aspect. I never really thought about the actual objectives themselves, as to start off with, we were just essentially winning a lot. So anything we did was fun and exciting, it was a new game, we didn't really have anything to criticize. But as we were challenged against players that now had a similar experience as us, there is a major issue with the cash out mode. Firstly, if you don't know, there are 2 money boxes initially spawning on the map. Each are worth $7,000 each if you manage to take it to a cash out and successfully defend it. During the time, you actually get an initial team money bonus of 1k for getting there first and activating it, then $200 per elimination, and then $3,000 for actually taking it to the cash out station itself. So overall, if you're having a good start to the game, then you'll actually be in first place with $11,000 to your team's name. This isn't the problem, and I think the start is actually really fun. The problem is the next stage of the game. After both cash out boxes have been deposited, 2 new boxes then spawn worth 18k each. So what does this mean? Well, let's just say that if your team had battled really hard taking the money box to an objective, and let's just even say you got 10 kills as a solo, which you can see happening in the background footage right now, your team would only still be at $13,000, which means that whatever you've done in the initial first half of the game is completely pointless. Unless people in the comments can correct me here, you could essentially do nothing the entire first half of the game, even completely throw, because the real game starts in the second half when the $18,000 box spawns. Just to show you the scale of how silly I think this is, when you're down to a 3v3, so the finals in the tournament mode, think about it. You could literally go AFK for 95% of the entire game, and then for that last 5% just charge into the final cash out station and see that last minute.
I just stole it!
Yes, now I know what you're thinking. Another alternative of that is you could just get the first cash out secure if you're good enough, then just defend the spawn of the second money box to stop the other team taking it without even touching it. But if you're unsuccessful in doing that, then you can still just allow the other team to take the money box to a cash out and then, just steal it last minute. Let's just say that you've worked super hard defending the cash out from the other team, or even teams, and you've gotten 30 kills as a team holding off the objective. The first one is successful in your favor. You get to the second one, and a team that didn't perform well in terms of kills, remember that even if they get wiped, it doesn't matter because they have $0, manages to steal the cash out last minute, sending you in third place. There's no show of actual skill there, apart from obviously, being good enough to perform a steal that late into the game. I get that, I really do. But I feel that they need to reward kills way, way more, as along with they are doing with teamwork in terms of, the ability combinations. But it's an essential part of the game, which is the kills and the environment of the game. Think about it, the crowd has come to see these virtual contestants perform and get kills, whilst at the same time completing the objectives. They wouldn't want to see a team just go AFK for, 50% of the time, and then just suddenly wake up and then try and steal it last minute. That's not really like full entertainment for the entire game. My potential fix to this is to actually reward teams for getting eliminations whilst cashing out, maybe double or triple the reward. I don't know the actual maths, but what this does is it actually provides that reward of at least second place, even if a team is unsuccessful at taking the second cash out. Then that 18k money box can still spawn, but only make it one of them, so then the entire map has to take on the other teams for a fight for securing a slot, because at the moment we are basically essentially just getting either a 3v3 versus a 3v3 in the whole quad threes game, or we're getting more of an unfair 3v3v3 versus 3, where the last team are just sitting camping with no action because the whole fight is over at B instead of A. This example might not be great, because then the question is how crazy will the 3v3v3v3 fight be for one money box, but it really does just beat sitting around for 4 minutes doing nothing, waiting for the cash out.
Are we dead? I'm stealing.
Steal it. Oh my god, you just stole it last second!
Yeah,
Yo, can I get a photograph? Yeah, how do you play the game? Tell me.
Steal the cash when they least expect it because they think they're safe at the end.
Oh.
Even though if they're still fully defended, apparently we can just run in and steal it.
But we're only on 9k, and isn't the next vaults like higher amount?
Yeah, it won't even matter.
So we have to. Oh, okay. Wait.
Matter.
So wait, but you just. Oh.
Yeah, this has no impact on the end game of this half, the second half of this game.
Oh, in my own personal opinion, but I believe in Embark, and I'd like to see if they hold the same vision in adjusting the game mode to either give an incentive, mid-game, but ultimately the team that manages to cash out the first money box with the most defended eliminations should at least get to finish in second place, maybe create an incentive to fight for first place. Does that give some sort of advantage into the next round where the two other teams that finish second might have to fight against? Think about that aspect. It is really a shame because I'm really enjoying playing this game, and it's been pretty frustrating when we do the hard work for 95% of the entire game. We're doing everything so well. We're getting the most kills, we're defending off the most, and then we're losing the fight at like the very, very end and then coming third. It just really sucks. One of my solutions, again, is maybe have like a depreciating cash out, where as soon as the money box is actually inside of the cash out station, you're actually gaining points, so then it's based off of how long you can defend for, rather than, hey, can you defend the objective for 1 minute and 56 seconds and not lose it in the last 4 seconds? I think that's a pretty cool aspect too, and maybe that'll be a better solution. Another change that I loved was the rope mechanics. It's now pretty limited in terms of how creative you can be with them, but I felt as if that was kind of a skill thing, and you should be rewarded for finding and coming up with learning these types of mechanics. When I discovered it initially, I was up until 3 in the morning because I was just having so much fun learning how I can do it on the vertical instead of the horizontal ropes as well. I want to see if I can hit 5. 1, 2, 3. The thing is, you have to like with this like mechanic. 1, 2. You have to be patient and fast at the same time. Did you see that?
Oh my god, you got some speed.
I just to dodge attacks, and you guys saw that in my triple turrets video. I understand that the state of the momentum was really overpowered. I get that. But at least give it some balancing so it's not extreme, but you can still apply the skill side of manipulating the movement on the ropes. It was a fun thing to do, and it feels like a punishment rather than a reward for people such as Moki, who found and pushed the limits of the movement. Looking into the unspoken side of the finals, I have come across some cheaters in the game, unfortunately. I don't have too much to talk about here because this is just gonna kind of be like a back and forth battle between the cheaters and Embark and Easy Anti-Cheat as well. But I'd say that I'm finding cheaters in around 10% of my games, which is pretty good when you compare it to other titles, but you know, it's still a shame to see. So if you're getting cheaters, let me know in the comment section too, so I get a rough idea of your guys' percentage as well. When I say 10%, that's like literally is cheating. Like I'll show you a clip as well from one example. They're here. Wait! Ha! 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 Ha!
I'm getting sprayed through bushes. I don't even know where he is.
And maybe it's just a skill issue. Again, this could just be me being trash, but you know, I'm seeing it's at least 10%, and it's like a player that's ending up on like 15 kills or something along those lines, right? Finally, I would say that more recently, I am feeling some sort of a delay in either my movement or like some delay in my actions taken. It's not too bad as you get used to it as you play more games during the day. But what I would say is mainly around the 0.2 seconds of an input delay or something like that. Like it's really subtle, but it's very annoying. And I found that if anyone has these issues, then putting the game on an NVMe SSD, so not an external SSD, an SSD that's actually inside your PC, has actually helped a lot. But I still feel this very minimal and subtle input delay, and that's, you know, hopefully something that gets improved. What we need to see now, though, is Embark actually taking the feedback and if they can improve in the highlighted areas from the data that they receive. This stage of playtesting that Embark is doing is super vital for the game's longevity. The team care about all the opinions and feedback as long as it's constructive and it's not just fix bad game laggy shit. Take your time filling out the survey and putting in as much detail as you can. Then it's no longer in our hands with our opinions, it's on Embark to feel the reaction and react in the best way they can to improve the game for full release. Oh my god, wait, they all fell. Wait, they all
What?
up. Wait, they all
What? What is this? I got that. I got that fucking high. I got that HD. What?
Now, I don't doubt that we'll be seeing other maps, more game modes, more abilities, maybe even more weapons as well, before the real day one launch, but I do think that we as players now know that the finals has a strong, good foundation for becoming a good game. But it's now on Embark to push themselves harder than ever, listen to feedback, think outside of the box, which I believe they are, and they have the capability to do further, obviously, but perfecting these, and this is the point, perfecting these, and especially improving the performance for the server, all of this hard work and effort is what turns a good game which lasts a year into one of the greatest games of all time, which lasts a lifetime. Thank you for watching again. My name's been Thix, and I'll see you on the podium.